Backdoor, nice find. Boston to Mitchell.
Now Porter's got it. Just made his 500th three. Oh, that's a nice cut by Porter.
Started 2-0. Here's Boston. Boston trying to take Savali. Boston fading and hitting.
Golden State has a smaller backcourt. They don't have the size necessarily that Denver has.
Turnaround jumper is good by Joker.
Jada Samuelson with one to shoot. Boston has to put it up and flips it in.
Into the quarter.
Durant sits with 6 first quarter points. Jokic. Oh, how does he do it?
But this has been sort of the fate of the Indiana Fever in this young season, is playing from behind.
How about Boston? Jokic singled up. Jokic around everybody.
Skylar Diggins-Smith getting that matchup on Caitlin Clark. They're going to double all screens.
Good pass inside.
Surprised Gordon didn't drive that in.
He thought twice.
Back cut. Watson. Woo.
Clark hesitating. Boston straightaway three. She connects.
Looking for Holiday. Back to Jokic. Jokic pulls the trigger on a long three.
Rim, and Boston pulled it down. Parker hits the deck, no whistle. And
Two-man game. Jokic inside, put it up and in.
Clark lobbing it in. Boston draws two in the corner. Oh, you bet.
As the quarterfinals, the pass into Jokic. Got a man Porter, and Porter fires the blue. Good start for Denver.
Here's Boston directing traffic. Boston stuck on an island will take and hit from three.
The Nuggets bench tonight. Ball knocked away. Jokic gets it back. He's going to take a three. First one of the night for Joker. Yeah.
Mark in the open court. Mismatch Nelson Adota. That means Boston has a height advantage. Drop off. Mitchell scores.
Hasn't played since Sunday.
Oh, what a pass.
Inside, a good-looking dive.
Debut. Here's Boston bodying in. Boston looking for an angle. Flips it in. Plus the foul.
Knocking down 2 of his 3. Jokic going right at Embiid. And gets him deep. Jokic scores.
Offense has been a little out of sync at times.
Boston spinning inside. Right around the...
He was wide open underneath the basket.
Jokic around his man, lay it up and in, and a foul.
Boston's defense. Good flip pass to Boston. Spin move. That was beautiful.
Gonna back up, pull the trigger. No, give to Jokic, and Jokic puts it to bed.
Nice back door. Mitchell left all alone.
Trailing 7-4 early goal. Inside and
Mitchell going back door.
Looking for Reggie on the back door, and he'll get it.
Brondello said after the game in the locker room, Team Houston.
around Sengun, and he puts it up and in.
Hello everyone, this is APO Sports. We're back with another video. This is all about Aliyah Boston. I have been vocal about somewhat of my disappointment in what transpired in Unrivaled and how Aliyah Boston perhaps is being viewed since Unrivaled ended, even though her team made it to the final game in Unrivaled. It's clear and evident if you look at the numbers, and I said before I haven't looked at any of the games, but I've heard that if you look at the games, it looked like she wasn't finishing and she just didn't look the same. So it's important that we put pretty much everything into perspective and into context. So today, of course, I'm going to be comparing Aliyah Boston to Nikola Jokic, and I've done this comparison many times before. So this is not necessarily new for the channel, but I feel like we need to touch that again every time that I talk about comparing both players. A lot of times in social media, people just think that that I'm crazy or that I'm exaggerating. And right now, I even feel like in the social media environment, that we're almost to the point where we have to defend and say, oh yeah, no, Aliyah Boston, like we wouldn't have made it to the playoff games without Aliyah Boston. I mean, we can say the same thing about Tammy Fagbenle, right? That we wouldn't have made the playoff without her. Or we could say the same about Lexi Hall, that we couldn't, or Erica Wheeler. You could, to an extent, you can make an argument, but it's beyond that with Aliyah Boston. Like, she led the team in win shares last year. That typically, that winning or leading the team in win shares is typically reserved for the best player in your team. So if you look at any NBA team, and you look at, any season, and you go to win shares as far as each individual player who led the team in win shares, it's typically going to be the best player on that team. So if you go to last year to Denver, who led the league or who led the team, the Denver Nuggets, in win shares? It was Nikola Jokic by a lot, by about 10, right? He had 17 win shares, and the next second best was Aaron Gordon with 7. If you look at the Dallas Mavericks, Luka led the team in win shares. And if you look at the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry led the team in win shares. I'm sure I haven't looked at the Lakers one, but if you look at the Lakers, I'm pretty sure that LeBron James would have led the team in win shares, and so on and so forth, right? So the value, I mean, we're here trying to say, oh, if it wasn't for her, we would make the playoffs. No shit. Wouldn't be a competitive team without her. I mean, the biggest evidence of that was, the Indiana Fever going from winning 5 games before drafting Boston and then to winning 13 games the next year after they draft, for Boston's rookie season. So, yes, Aliyah Boston is a huge player. And I continue to say that today, if there was a draft, right? Like everything, I get to pick, say I get to make the very first 2 picks, whole new team, and everything's being reset in the WNBA, and we're looking long term, right? So of course some people are going to say, pick AJ Wilson, but AJ Wilson, you have to consider the age. So I'm looking at, okay, I want to build a team now and a team for the future, and I get the very first 2 picks. I'm going to pick Caitlin Clark first and Aliyah Boston second, just based on their age and their potential. Because what I have in Caitlin Clark, which I'm going to be doing a comparison here, really what you have in Caitlin Clark is a combination of 3 players. So she's not, you can't even compare her to 1. You have to compare her to 3. She is Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook in his prime, and Luka Doncic. That's pretty much Caitlin Clark. That's the combination of 3. That's crazy. That's insane to even have a combination of those skill sets of the very best of those 3 players. And then on the other side for Aliyah Boston is Nikola Jokic, who right now is and has been for the last 5 years the best NBA player, the best player in the world, basketball player in the world. And I mean, but it didn't start that way. If I would have told you in 2015 or 2016 that I was going to pick Nikola Jokic for the future, you would have laughed off my face. If I would have said that in 2017, if I would have said that in 2018, people would be criticizing me the same way that they're criticizing me now for picking Aliyah Boston. And you saw by the highlights. So it's not just, we're going to look at the numbers, which are crazy similar, but it's beyond the numbers. Like, it's when you're watching the game, and right now in those highlights, they have pretty much the same tools, and they have the same vision, the same basketball IQ. They understand the game slows down for them. Now, Aliyah Boston is a little raw, and she's going to get sharper, right? So these highlights that I showed were from Aliyah Boston's second season in the league compared to, Nikola Jokic last year MVP season. So an already sharpened skill set of the greatest basketball player in the world and Aliyah Boston, and they share. You can see the vision. You can see that it is there, right? It's just a matter of unlocking that. So so we're just gonna look at the numbers real quick. All right, so here are the numbers, and what we're gonna compare is pretty much the rookie years of both Aliyah Boston and Nikola Jokic. And I'm doing the rookie years because Aliyah Boston had a better rookie year than she did her second year in the league, and the numbers compare a little bit better only because she was more efficient. She did average just a little bit more points per game and a little bit more rebounds per game, but as far as efficiency, she was a lot more efficient in 2023 than she was in 2024. So here we go, right? So per 36 minutes, these are the numbers between Nikola Jokic and Aliyah Boston. Now, Michael Malone, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, is an incredible coach. He's one of the best coaches in the NBA. He was able to quickly figure out that Nikola Jokic was a generational talent, right? So after this rookie year, his numbers and his minutes and everything just went up dramatically. They even traded the other center that they had drafted ahead of Nikola Jokic, because as we all remember, Nikola Jokic was drafted in the second round during a Taco Bell commercial. So that continues to be the legacy of the Nikola Jokic thing. But anyways, here we have the comparison. So per 36 minutes, they were pretty much identical as far as points per game. We have 16.7 by Boston, 16.5 by Jokic. They had the same amount of turnovers, 2.2. The Aliyah Boston is a better defender than Jokic, and I also think compared to the women's game, Boston is a lot more mobile than Jokic. Whether like she can move around, defend some wing players and everything like that. There's no way Jokic can defend a wing player, or not a fast one anyways. Steals almost identical, 1.5 for Boston, 1.6 for Jokic. Assists, so here the assist numbers just favor Jokic. Jokic just has always had an incredible skill for passing and vision on the basketball court. Rebounds, not to Jokic. Although they were very similar in offensive rebounding, Jokic was better from the free throw line. I just think generally Jokic is a better shooter overall, even though he has that weird shooting motion. But he just is a much better shooter. Now here, of course, the 3-point shooting is a little bit deceiving just because of the amount of threes that Boston took. That's a very small sample size. In 2024, those numbers were down. I think she's in the 20s, maybe 23, 24, 25%. Not her strength, but she can knock down the three every now and then. A 2-point percentage. And this is the other thing, right? Like they're seeing Boston struggle for whatever reason. She was struggling early on last year, and then she was also apparently struggling in Unrivaled just from the 2-point attempts. But as you can see during her rookie year, she was doing fantastic, 58% for twos, whereas Jokic was only 54%. The attempts were pretty much identical, right? So 12.5 for Jokic, 11.6 for Boston. So these numbers are damn near identical. And the other thing, and this is why I like advanced statistics for many different reasons. Just because you get to see their actual impact on the basketball court. And this is what it tells you, right? Like when Aliyah Boston, and this is again, I mean, I'm not sure what the record for the Denver Nuggets was in 2015, 2016 season, but we know for the Fever it was 13-27, right? And the defensive rating for her to be a plus 16 per 100 possessions on the court on a team that was terrible is outrageous. This is the biggest indicator that when this player is on the court, good things tend to happen, right? If you're outscoring in a really, really bad team, in a shitty team, if you're outscoring your opponents by 16, that is incredible. By outscoring your opponents by 16 per 100 possessions is insane. It just tells you again the value. And Jokic has always had amazing, net rating as far as on the court, off the court numbers. He's the advanced stats, like genius, right? Like that is what mostly gives him the MVPs, is just the impact that he has on the floor, that whenever he goes to the bench, the team pretty much implodes. When he comes back onto the court, the team does really well. The same thing happens with Aliyah Boston, and for her rookie year, she was the only Fever player with a positive net rating. Everyone else had a negative net rating. How is that even possible? And it's not like she barely had a positive net rating. Again, we're talking about plus 16, which is nuts. Extremely nuts. And then last year for the Fever, which ended with a 20-20 record, essentially, 500, great improvement, mass improvement. A lot of that, most of that also thanks to Caitlin Clark. But there were only 2 players on the Fever last year that had a positive net rating. And that was Aliyah Boston, who had the most. She was plus 7 last year. And Lexi Hall, who was plus 4. And that's why, I am such a fan of both of those players, Aliyah Boston and Lexi Hall. And it's not just numbers, right? You can see their impact on the basketball court. They don't turn the ball over that much. When it's crunch time, fourth quarter, when it's winning time, they make the right plays almost every time. They have ice in their veins where they can hit clutch shots. They are just incredible as far as on the court impact, positive impact to winning. And that is everything that Aliyah Boston brings to the court and to this team. And then we see the win shares. So the win shares, and this is all crazy to me that the advanced numbers are so identical. So player efficiency rating, even Boston was higher than Jokic in her rookie year. Rebound percentage, almost the same. Assist percentage, of course, Jokic is gonna take her on that. But steals and blocks, right there. Turnover, identical. Usage rate, they were used the same amount of time, which is insane during the rookie year. And finally, the win shares. So an estimated number of wins contributed by a player, 6 for Boston, 6.7 for Jokic. And for the 2 years that Aliyah Boston has been part of the Indiana Fever, she has led the team in win shares both times. So I just hope, my hope is, because of course last year with Coach Christy Sides, I think she was a fan of Aliyah Boston, so I don't think she was trying to do things on purpose to set her up for failure. She just was never able to find a way to have that particular team work together the way that it's supposed to, right? So Caitlin Clark was struggling, Aliyah Boston was struggling. So just because a lot of the things didn't make sense, there's tons of confusion, there's no game plan. Nobody knows what's going on. Things are changing. The rotations change from game to game, so you had no idea. Sometimes Caitlin Clark would get a rest. Sometimes she wouldn't. Sometimes she get a rest in the first quarter. Sometimes in the second. Like, there was no consistency that players had no idea when they're coming to the game, when they were getting off, what the game plan was for any given game. So I think, and not only that, but I also think that Coach White is already saying the right things as far as, every time that she talks about Caitlin Clark, she says she's a generational talent. Every time she talked about Aliyah Boston, she also says that she's a generational talent. So I know she has the eye, and I know that she knows the value that both Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston bring to the table, to this Indiana Fever team, that in the future, I think in a matter of 2-3 years, if developed correctly, Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston will be the 2 best players in the entire WNBA. That is the potential, at least right now. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm going to look like a clown talking about this whole entire time, but I doubt it. I think that I'm right on this, and they will develop. Boston is such a student of the game, and they will figure it out. So, but yeah, that is my take on Aliyah Boston and the comparison to Nikola Jokic. That is absolutely her ceiling. And I can't wait again till the season starts to see how that develops and to continue to track how the comparisons continue to shape up. So let me know your thoughts on Aliyah Boston. Do you agree that to an extent Aliyah Boston and Nikola Jokic have similar games, and whether or not she can ever achieve the level of success that Jokic has? So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if I'm crazy too. that's cool too. Hope you enjoyed the video at the beginning, and if you like videos like this, and I will be doing NBA comparisons with the other FIFA players as well. So if you like this type of content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.